Oh, we're being recorded. Okay, here we are. Great to see everybody. We can almost see Jeffrey. He's there somewhere. There we go. Now we see him. Jeffrey, do not look at the screen. Keep on doing those things legally over there, please. We don't want to get in trouble. Okay, so here we are. This week's Torah portion is called Parshas Emor. Last week was a double portion Achrei Mos and Kedoshim, and now we're up to Emor. Emor mostly breaks up into two main parts or so. You have the beginning, which talks about the laws of the Kohen and the Kohen Gadol, the high priest. And then at the end of the Torah portion, it goes through a lot of the Chagadays, the holidays. We talk about some of the gifts that are given to the Kohen, which is something that I was gonna potentially bring up over here a little bit. Those are the main themes of the portion. And I think right now we don't have any Kohanim over here, right? Mike, you're not a Kohen, are you?
No.
No.
Not from the poor side of the tribes.
Okay. And Larry, our usual Larry is one of our main Kohanim. Larry's not here. And Mark Gertzikov is another Kohen. He's not here either. So we'll be nice to them, even though we call them out publicly. But they'll listen to the recording and they'll share their ideas with us about what it means to be a Kohen. The Kohen has special requirements because as it turns out with all awesome things in Judaism, really all of life and the world around us has the same concept as we think about a little bit more perhaps in Judaism, because of the fact that we know there are different roles and there are different mitzvos. Not all mitzvos apply to every person, even though we have an idea that every person is supposed to do every mitzvah, right? Which obviously is physically impossible for every person to do every mitzvah. But there are certain mitzvahs that only apply to certain people. So a Kohen has certain mitzvahs that apply to him. A Levi has certain mitzvahs that apply to them. A Yisrael has ones that apply to him. Women have certain mitzvahs. Men have certain mitzvahs. Firstborns have certain mitzvahs, right? So there's this whole list of this concept of there being different roles, a different job, a different opportunity, which then brings along with it a level of responsibility. So we actually go ahead and give gifts to the Kohen and gifts to the Levi on a regular basis because of what they do for us. What do they do for the Hamonam, the regular people, the Joe Schmoes, right? The rest of us? Well, they do the service inside the Beis HaMikdash, inside the temple. They're the ones that do that service for us. They're the ones who are the leaders of the Jewish people in the times of the Beis HaMikdash, when everything lines back up the way it should fully line up. The Kohanim have a responsibility to the Jewish people to provide for them the Torah knowledge, the Torah guidance, life guidance, and the Levi does the same thing. The Levi is in charge of guarding certain types of things and providing certain services for the Jewish people and for the world at large. Because even someone who's not Jewish is actually allowed to bring certain types of sacrifices, certain offerings inside of the temple. That was meant for everybody. It was a space, a spiritual space for everyone. There were limitations: who can go where, what, when, and those types of things, and what kind of offering were allowed to be brought. But it was something that was meant for everybody. So I just thought it's a very it's an interesting topic, and this week I think this concept, we talked a little bit last week about it, but I think part of what comes up is responsibility. I think responsibility is a major factor when we think about our journey in life, is the responsibility that we have to ourselves and to others. And I wanted to try to connect that a little bit to the end of the Torah portion where it goes to the holidays. And why do we have so many holidays? So there's a concept which we have shared in the past, which really is that even before the different events that took place in the world, right? Obviously, Pesach lines up with the freedom of leaving Egypt, right? But there's actually an innate power or energy to the time of Pesach, right? To the time of Nisan, of Passover, for an aspect of freedom. And that existed even before we had the actual coming free from Egypt. So that means that there are spiritual energy checkpoints throughout the year that we have the ability to tap into. And in fact, I would say not just that we have the ability to tap into, but we actually have a responsibility to tap into, to connect with. Last week, somebody in the group brought up that they did a Pesach Seder outside at a different time than the time on the calendar, right? We've discussed in the past how it's so awesome and beautiful to bring the family together and to bring friends together and to go through the steps of the Seder and the same thing. It's like, let's say we decided right now we want to do Sukkot. Let's say we decide, look, the weather's getting a little better. It's not perfect, but it's a nice time to, like, let's break out a gazebo. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll build the walls. We'll put the slats on top. We'll plan a really nice meal. And then in the morning, we'll we'll go to the store and try to track down a citron, and we'll get the pomegranate, and we'll do the whole holiday of Sukkot in the middle of, what are we up to? April, almost May, right? So it's still April. It could be April Fool's joke, right? It could be April Fool's, and then, it can confuse people, right? So let's say we decide to do that. So what benefits still exist? Well, obviously, getting people together in one space at one time is wonderful. Right? That's very important. Create more positive energy, learn from each other, spend time together. Okay. Well, it's Sukkot, though. So we're going to also talk about the amazing things that God did for us while the Jewish nation was traveling through the wilderness. Right? Okay. That makes sense. And actually, you know what? It really does make sense to do Sukkot now. Right? Because let's think about it. This is the time of year when the Jewish nation was actually traveling in the desert, right? Because they left Egypt and they were traveling to Mount Sinai. So they're actually in the middle of the desert right now. It's this perfect time to do the holiday of Sukkot. It makes a lot of sense. So let's do it. So we're going to talk about all the miracles that God provided, the manna for the Jewish people, right? And he provided shelter with the clouds, and the Jewish people had nothing to worry about. Everything was taken care of for them, and they could just bask in the glory of God, right? And go ahead and reflect back on the miracles and all the amazing things that God did for them and talk about their history and who they are and where they are and what they come from. All those great things. They could work on becoming more and more spiritual, right? They could attain great heights in the spiritual realm because when we were in Egypt, right before we left Egypt, we were actually right by rock bottom from a spiritual standpoint. The Jewish nation, we were about to hit the land of no return. We would have been stuck in such a spiritual abyss that we would not have been able to climb out. That's where we were. God did us the huge, unbelievable miracle and favor of taking us out exactly at that moment so we did not fall into that space. Which means there's 49 levels of spirituality, positive, negative. So we're actually traveling right now, right? Today was the 20, yesterday, today, whatever you're up to, right? It was the 27th day of the Omer. We're counting the 49 days to get ourselves to the holiday of Shavuos. So we're right now traveling, and we're trying to get ourselves to this 27th and the 28th day height of spirituality. So it actually makes a lot of sense for us to sit inside of a sukkah. Wouldn't that be a great way to reflect on where we are as a people? Let's sit inside of a sukkah, just like the Jews did back in the day. Let's reflect a little bit about life, how we're doing spiritually, how we're doing physically, spiritually, emotionally, right? How are we doing? That's what we think about when we sit in the sukkah, right? You sit outside, you're open to the elements of the world, and you get to think about it. That's what I did on Sunday. I was hiking through the mountains and the woods and the streams and the muddy goop of Vernon, New Jersey. And when I had those moments where nobody else was around me, that's that feeling of like, oh my gosh, am I the last guy? But then you're like, oh no, I'm not. I hear somebody, right? But you get these quiet moments where you get to really, really have some phenomenal introspection.
Sure.
And thought about life. I thought about a particular issue I'm struggling dad-wise, I work on trying to be the best dad that I could be. And I'm currently struggling with one particular issue. And I was like thinking about how I'll tell you exactly, this is a little off topic, but I guess it all connects. The way it works when I run these Spartan races or an obstacle course race. So I'll be jogging along, and then I'll see an obstacle coming up. So if I was, when I was in peak shape, tip top shape, I would actually run at that obstacle and just take it down as fast as I could. Now what has to happen is I actually slow down a little before I catch my breath and slowly approach the obstacle. I was saying for myself, with this particular challenge I'm having with one of my kids, and I'm reacting too quickly, too strongly to them, is I need to view these moments of challenge as the obstacle. I must slow down before I approach the obstacle. That is one of the things that it sounds very simple, but it's actually very deep, and it's not so easy to put into practice. But I really did a lot of time meditating and reflecting on this idea while I was in the middle of the woods in my knees to mud. This is something that I thought a lot about. And this could be a lot easier to do than going into the woods like that. You actually sit outside in your sukkah and reflect a little bit. It's a little easier than going up to New Jersey, right? But this would be the concept, right? This would be the concept of what we could do with the holiday. Now, what's missing, though? Why don't we do Sukkot at this time? Or what piece is missing if we do the holiday at a different moment? What's missing is there's a spiritual energy that actually exists with the time of the holiday. Purim has a certain spiritual energy that is showered down upon the world that we can connect to, but it showers down at Purim time. It doesn't shower down after Purim. Rosh Hashanah time is when there's a certain energy that comes down into the world on Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur is a certain time of energy that comes there. We call the holidays are referred to as moadim. A moed is a place of meeting. Moed means to meet. So when we come to a moed, when we come to a holiday, it's a place of meeting. What are we meeting? We're meeting God. We're meeting community. We're meeting ourselves. And we're meeting this energy that's connected to that time. And all those things happen within that space. So when we do the holiday, right, if we were to do Sukkot right now, what would happen is we would have all of the awesomeness of the holiday, but we would still be missing an ingredient, which you want to make sure we still take hold of that ingredient. And that ingredient is going to be this spiritual energy that exists in the slot of Sukkot time. Not just when we're sitting in the sukkah because we decided to build it, right? So this is the energy of the holidays. And this is perhaps part of the responsibility that comes with that. As we like to say in the Carp House, time keeps on moving. It just keeps on traveling. What we do with it is what makes the difference. Because it just keeps on going. Old man, right? Whatever you want to call it, right? It just keeps on going and traveling and traveling and traveling. It doesn't stop for us. And all of our cool machines we could try to come up with, right? So far, we have not found the one that stops time. Tell Willy Wonka, it just doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't work that way. It's just going to keep on going. And what we do with it is what we need to grab onto. So there's energies in the spaces. Shabbos, the sun goes down on Friday night. Whether you're actively involved with Shabbat or not actively involved with Shabbat, it is the energy of Shabbos starts at Friday night when the sun goes down, and it leaves us. Mostly leaves us when the sun goes down and the stars come out on Saturday night. If we want to tap into the energy of Shabbos, that's when we grab that energy. That's when we do it. Are there benefits to creating a Shabbos during the weekday? Certainly. You want to slow down and relax a little bit, spend time with family, spend time with people that you love and you care about or whatever, or you don't care about, right? You want to go and eat good food? I mean, look, I'm a fan. Let's do Friday night, Saturday. And how's Wednesday night? Wednesday night, how does Tuesday night, Wednesday sound for a second break of the week? Sounds good? In America, we get Sunday too, I guess, right? At least in America. Not everywhere in the world do they do that. Do we get that break like that? So this is one of the energies of the holidays. And I think it's part of the responsibility that we have. The gifts are there, and we have the opportunity and responsibility to grab hold of it and to connect with it and to bring it into our lives and to do something with it. So this is when we walk out of that space, we're not the same person we were before. It's a time of meeting. It's a time of connecting. It's a time of changing who we are, because we can connect with something that, even if we don't fully feel it in our human bodies, our souls can certainly plug into that. And it has a big impact on us. So it's something to think about. Obviously, you can explore all the holidays and learn lots of beautiful lessons about them and understand. But I think this role of the Kohen and the Levi, the responsibility that they have to us and the responsibility that we have to them, and it's the same responsibility that we have to the holidays. The holidays and Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, they're providing something for us. And it's up to us to grab hold of it and bring it into our world. So God willing, we should have the energy and the emotional, intellectual honesty and energy to go ahead and grab hold of those beautiful opportunities that are right there. They're right in front of us. Right now, we're right there. Next week is going to be a minor holiday of Lag Baomer. The 33rd day of the Omer is coming up. It's actually a beautiful day of celebration. I'll probably send something out that talks a little bit about it. We talked a little bit about it in past years. Great time, special energy that exists in that day also. Beautiful day for prayer, beautiful day for connection. If you like fires, I'm sure you can look up in your community. There'll be some sort of Lag BaOmer event not too far away.
Beautiful day for L'chaim too.
A beautiful day, exactly. Did you ever come to any of the Lag BaOmer events we did in Rhode Island?
I did two of them. They were a blast.
I remember that. That's right. That's right.
They were a blast.
We drove back from EG together.
Yeah. One way. I think I came back with you. Yeah.
That's when I had the van, right? That's right.
Yeah.
But that's it's an opportunity. It lies there. It's in our week, the coming up week, and we have the ability to plug into it. So if you can't find something near you by doing a Google search, let me know and I'll track one down for you. I know Mark. I think they're doing a party at Dr. Weiss's house on Lag BaOmer night. And Jeffrey, I'm sure if the synagogue's not doing something, I'm sure Chabad or someone's going to do something. Chabad's usually pretty into Lag BaOmer also. And Jason and Michael, I have no doubt that there's some things going on between the H Center and other places. I'm sure you can find somebody. Bonfire, roasting hot dogs, s'mores, singing, dancing. It's a beautiful opportunity. So let us take advantage of the small ones. We're in this space also going from Pesach to Shavuos, so we're like inside of this amazing space, amazing opportunity. They say every day has like a double energy to it during this time, because we're creeping out of the negative energy of the negative 49 that we were in and moving up in the positive 49. So almost like a double energy that happens every day. We don't just leave behind. We don't just go up one step. We leave the negative behind and move into a higher realm of positivity, of growth. So there's tons going on now, and it's a beautiful opportunity. Grab hold of it. So we should have the strength to do that, and look forward to connecting to the holiday and to the Torah portion in a deeper fashion together. That is my thoughts. What else do you have to say for yourself, Jeffrey?
I like how you were reflective in the mud. That means a lot. I really like that.
I agree. That was a cool moment.
We've known you long enough, Noach, where tell me more about that. I do like that.
You want to know more about it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you more about it. Really, it's interesting because I really was not. I was really gonna. I signed up for like a mid-level race, which is called a super, which is supposed to be a 10K, which they don't know how to measure things in the world of Spartan. So it actually was 7.5 plus miles, as opposed to the 6 and change that it was supposed to be. And I really wasn't ready for it. I did try to train. I got some training in. I did some late night. You saw some of my things. I did some late night workouts. I wore my 40-pound weight vest all over the place. But I have not found the right space to really train on the mountains like I used to train in Providence. I used to walk those crazy hills in downtown Providence. I used to train on those a lot. I didn't get to have my 10-mile walks with Jeffrey this year. And I really was not prepared for that. So I was going to do the lower level race. And then my dear wife, as we all know, Miriam says, you signed up for the greater one, and therefore you should be doing that. that higher one that you signed up for. So I did it. And I knew going into it that I was going to have some major challenges. So I had moments where I really had to dig deep, where I really was digging deep to keep on going up, because it was a lot of going up, and not just walking up, but going up rocks and crawling, and it rained the day before. So there were streams coming down the mountain, and wow. It really required. So whenever I have that, those quiet moments, you're like, why am I doing this to myself? And that's where those reflective moments come in. I think a lot about, especially when I get the quiet ones. I did bump into some people along the way, very nice people, that we had some good schmoozes. But, I knew going into part of that, I also had the drive up and the drive back. So I definitely had certain things on my mind I wanted to work through. I have some things on my own personal journey that I'm working on. So someone said, why these obstacle course races? I say, because it really is a perfect analogy for life. It's got the ups, it's got the downs, it's got the challenges, it's got the things that are currently easy for me, right? Some of these things are easy for me because I've done it so many times. So in my Jewish journey, for me to, let's say, for example, for me to keep kosher. So on where Noach Karp is on his Jewish journey, right, keeping kosher isn't so much of a challenge. But I have other things that are a challenge for me. Everybody on their own level has a different things that are their challenge and are their opportunity for growth. So when I come into a Spartan, I approached an obstacle. I knew that I could not do this obstacle anymore. I used to have no problem with it. And there were these two kids that were in front of me, kids, whatever, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds that were trying to figure it out. So I felt like I stepped into coach mode. And I said, look, guys, it's going to sound funny, but believe me, I can't do this right now. I will try it because I'm here, but I'm telling you I'm going to fail it. But let me tell you what to do. And I actually coached them through the obstacle. And they breathed. Once I told them what to do, whoop, they went right through it, no problem. And they were sitting there struggling so much. So, that's what life is like. We do it for ourselves. We do it for our friends. We do it for our kids. Do it for our parents, whatever it is, right? Do it for our loved ones. Do it for our congregants, our friends, whatever it is. We do this. So there's so many phenomenal, life lessons and life applications that I draw from this world of obstacle course racing, not just the training before, the actual running of it. And I could give you a million of them. And right now, a friend of mine who's pushing me to start talking about it more and sharing it more. But definitely that reflection, when you're quietly in the woods by yourself, slowly sinking into the mud as you slip out, and you're like, no, don't fall, and you catch yourself, right? There's a lot of wonderful things you can come up with while you're doing that. It's really really amazing. So that's a little more about it, Jeffrey. I'm not sure it was the answer you wanted, but that's more about it.
Great.
I really got to run on this end, but thank you.
All right, everyone's having an amazing, awesome Shabbos.
Thank
Great
you.
to see everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
All right.